Welcome to Virtual Coffee with Dawn Rickabaugh, the Note Queen, where we talk about owner financing and notes. Financial solutions, one mom and pop to another.
So it's okay if you leave a little equity, because then not only do they put a big down payment down and have decent credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have the ability to pay, you want to make sure that, ideally, I mean, with your first one and only one in a year, I'm not saying I understand what Colorado's done with Dodd-Frank, even though it may be sort of going away. You have to think about, it's not a bad idea to have a licensed mortgage originator underwrite the file and prove ability to pay. So you can go, hey, I set this up. I wasn't, if you're in front of a judge and foreclosing on someone, you want to be able to prove that you made every effort to make sure that you're not being a predatory type lender. You set them up for success. You never want to be in that position, right?
Right.
That you're setting them up with something that they can't do. But if you're willing to ride out long, you've got 30 years, 27, 28 years to go on your loan.
Yep.
You can easily, ride that for that many years potentially, right?
Okay.
So, but you can't write the loan. You can't write your note longer than but you have a fully amortizing loan, so it doesn't really matter. But really, you can't generally, in most cases, give better terms or longer terms than you have. Like if you had a 10-year balloon, then you better write a 10-year balloon into the next person, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, but you're good here. So let's, and you want them to go the minute they take, so if they put 20% down, what are we talking? What is that? If it's $350, if they're going to pay $350, you put it on Craigslist or, for sale by owner, Zillow is very effective in my part of town. So for sale by owner, Zillow helped me sell a couple of properties really quick, although I do love realtors in most instances. So anyway, so that's $70,000. So if they're going to put down $70,000, that's their skin in the game, right? So, and also the idea that if they've got a little bit of equity, maybe the market value would come up at 380. And if they're getting at 350, that's so much the more emotional attachment that they have to it. The feeling that even if life gets hard, not only do they have the hard cash equity that came out of their pockets that they hopefully worked very hard for, but then they've got this equity that you left on the table because you could. So it's actually, even though when you're offering terms, it is true that you can often get a premium and charge a little bit more, right? But it's not a bad idea when you can.
Yeah.
To just, you see what I mean? Like,
yeah.
When people are like, yeah, I got a great deal, and they're even more attached to it. And if you don't want a headache as a lender and you haven't done the deal hoping that you're gonna get it back and they crash and burn, then you want them just to send the payments on time. You just want that ACH'd into your account, and you don't want to have to worry. So
that's right.
Right. So it's okay to leave equity when you can, right?
Okay.
It's very great. So basically we got 350 minus 70,000, which is 20% down. That would be ideal. Now, I don't know if you'll get it. You may get a little less. You may get a little more. And that's great too, right?
Right.
So basically we've got, that leaves a 280 loan amount, and you have 4.5. What do you think someone who is willing and able to put $70,000 down, what do you think? And if they have decent credit, let's just be real, they probably could qualify for bank financing. And I don't know what the rates are, but what do you think they'd be willing to pay? Now, sometimes you get self-employed people who have a really hard time getting a bank loan, even though they're really good payers. So let's just think about that self-employed couple,
Yep.
that, is a couple years out from even potentially qualifying for bank financing or something.
Yep.
So let's just think about those people. But what do you think they'd be willing to pay?
I don't know. Okay. I'll just,
Interest rate.
okay. Well, I don't know, 9%.
That's going to be pretty high, I bet. So if we write that out at a normal Actually, they could probably afford it. Now, whether they can afford it probably, because that's $2,250, but I don't know if they would pay it. So someone in that price point, so in that.
Well, okay, I'm considering what you just advised is maybe, if the house is really maybe valued at 380, but then I give them at 350. That's
Right. But I just am going to say someone who has 20% down and pretty decent credit.
right. Okay.
So here's what I want to do. You ask for what you want, right? You never know until you ask, right? Because when it's a mom and pop deal, it's whatever the parties agree to. I'm going to guess that's a little bit stiff. Now,
So then 8%?
well, yeah, I mean, let's at 8%, there's a $2,000, but that doesn't include taxes and insurance for them, right? That's just P&I. My guess is you can do really well. Let's say you're at 4.5% fixed. Look, you're going to do great, even if it's at 5.5%, 6%.
Okay.
So it's just about what people
Okay.
will agree to.
All right.
Right. So basically, then that brings, if that's at 5, let's just put in 6, because look, hey, I'm doing you a favor, but then if you really want the long-term cash flow, they're going to pay you off as soon as they can or refinance as soon as you can. And if you really are wanting just to practice and feel that spread, if you put in 6%, they're almost $1,700 plus taxes and insurance, whatever that turns out to be. So you still kind of have that same spread as you do as a landlord, but just way less headache, right? And less risk if we're talking about a conventional.
And I have a nice $70,000 to reinvest.
Exactly. And you are going to have some capital gains to deal with, right? Because that 70,000, and you have quite a large capital gain if you're from 150 up to 350. So whatever cash you do get as a down payment will probably be subject to capital gains, whatever principal you receive. But so what? So you have to pay whatever it is, and then you have, let's say you get 50, 60,000 that you can do something else with, and maybe now I'm a note holder. Now I wonder if I want to make a loan to someone else and be a private lender, or now maybe I'll look for a small owner carry note to buy at a discount, right? Because I already did this thing. So even if you got paid off in a year, you did a new thing and you added a new skill set to your closet, and you created a solution for a buyer and a homeowner, and that's never a bad thing, right?
Okay.
So you actually can't lose. You've done really well for yourself, no matter which way it plays. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or did I? Okay. Anything left talked about before we wrap up here in the next?
No, that's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, well, good. And I'm sure you can just crunch things around with Jeff too.
Yes.
He'll see what, yeah, send me an email afterwards when you actually do it. Just tell me how the story worked out.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brenda. Your story is very, very inspirational on so many levels. And I just know you're going to be successful because you already are. you're just gonna expand the ways that you can achieve the goals that you have to make a great life for yourself and for your family that you're blessed to have, that you didn't even know you're gonna have, right? So
thank you, Don. I look forward to. I'm really going to try to make it really truly to your summit.
it would be lovely. It'd be lovely if you could. It's just such a gift to meet people in person, and yeah. So
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Okay.
And another thing, just before we go to the next person, and Ed, is Ed still on? Ed's still here. Okay. Hold on there, Ed. I'm going to bring you on in a second. One thing that I was reminded from my chat with Brenda, is that noise in the background really loud to you guys? Like the tape being cut upstairs? Axel, is that super loud?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, good. Because it's really loud. I'm going, whoa. We run 2 home offices out of our house, so we always have a lot going on.
You've been listening to Virtual Coffee with Dawn Rickabaugh. For more, please visit notequeen.com.